there, it's Al Petteway again, here from Dream Guitars. And I wanted to tell you about something I just discovered, I would say in the last 3 years or so, maybe a little bit more. But I went through a couple of phases in my life where I had injuries, and I learned how to do things in a different way to kind of allow myself to keep playing without having to, just stop. And the first time I hurt my arm, and I think the doctor said I had to quit playing for 2 years, something like that, and I said no. And so I figured out that was the first time I ever used DADGAD tuning, which is this D-A-D-G-A-D. It's a kind of a nice tuning because it gives you a lot of options for going to different keys. But ideally, at the time, I only had to use 1 or 2 fingers to play really nice tunes. And put the capo on the 5th fret or 7th fret, something like that, and you end up with this really beautiful sound that's, it just kind of rings, sounds harp-like, and it's beautiful, and you only have to use 1 or 2 fingers. So that's where I started with this concept. And then in recent years, I've had to fight with arthritis and different ailments that I've been trying to deal with as an old guy. And one of the things I discovered in that tuning, and also in standard, but primarily in DADGAD, is that if you find the right key, and you find specifically a key that has all the open strings as part of the scale, you can create like this little, I think of it as like a box maybe, but not even a big enough thing to be a box. But for example, in DADGAD, D is a good root because you've got 3 Ds and 2 As. 2 A's, 3 D's, and so that gives you right away this feeling of like, if you add this A in, it's just very dominant in D. And I like minor keys and things like that, so I discovered that if I play the 2nd and 3rd fret only, nothing else, let's add in on the outside strings, the 5th fret, because that note is harder to get anywhere else. But for now, let's just do 2, 3. Don't even worry about the 5th, but that would be one I would add in normally. 2nd and 3rd fret's going to give you a minor flavor in DADGAD. And the cool thing about it is it's going to give you 2 different kinds of minors. It's going to give you the regular Aeolian minor, and then it's also give you a Dorian minor, I guess is that, yeah. So, and the difference, let me play the scale for you. That's just regular minor. The Dorian would be, and they're both going to be on the 2nd fret. The B, it's the B note you have to worry about. So in D minor, it's B flat, and in D Dorian, it's B natural. But what's really cool, especially playing leads over top of chords, is you can float in and out of Dorian and minor real easy and create a cool thing. So I started writing songs that had to do with just all I had to do was play 2 frets. And it might go up to the 5th fret. 2 frets and an open string. And then I could create little patterns where I'm hammering on and pulling off. Once I know that I've got this note, this note, this note, this note, this note, this note, this note. All those are in there that I could use in some fashion. Then I can create melodies and only have to use 2 fingers, 1 and 2, on these 2 frets. Now if I add a 3rd finger in, I can play every chord in that tuning only on 2 frets. So if I wanted to play this, there's no 3rd. If I want to add a 3rd, minor 3rd. If I want to add a 7th. And so I ended up with these chords like, still just using 2 frets. So right away I'm getting excited with that idea that, oh, I only need 2 frets and open strings. And then I messed around some more and I found another spot on the neck. It's the same way, 1 fret apart, and that's on the 7th and 8th frets. So you've got, well, actually I wouldn't even play that one, maybe that one. Yeah, this note you don't want to hit, so forget the 3rd string. In DADGAD, the 3rd string is always a problem. So if you ever are not sure what to play, just skip the 3rd string. Everything else will work out. So just in those 2 frets and open strings, I can do and so I started messing around with that, and I came up with a cool little couple of tunes based in that tuning. In the DADGAD minor D key. And for example, one of the ones has a melody that goes something like this. And you see I have to go up to get that note, but other than that, it's all just those 2. And then I can do the same thing down here. And so I've got, in that one tune, I've got almost the entire tune has to do with playing fingered notes and open notes. That tune, I'm going to do a lesson where I show you that whole tune, so we're not going to concentrate on that right now. But I wanted to get you the idea of messing around with these, these 2 frets here, and these 2. I don't know. This is a really nice guitar, and I just picked it up without retuning it, so don't blame the guitar. Okay, so that's the kind of thing I'll do for a minor key. And if someone else is playing in D minor, I'll play licks that just revolve around those frets. And then, like I said, add in the higher note that's 4 frets above this one. And what's cool is this, I can use that and the exact same lick. And it comes out sounding really good because you've got this, there's the little sneaky thing where down here you're going to end up, if you play a B, it'll be Dorian. But if you don't, it's still minor. And then if I go, it's a Dorian. Or when I'm going to the B, if I want to hit a B flat, go either way. Now here's the cool thing. If I raise the second finger from the first, I move up and use the third instead, and just do the first and fourth fret, second and fourth frets, then it's all major. Same thing here, the same fret, 7th fret. So I can now play the same thing, and it's major. This is minor, and then major. And I haven't had to change my muscle memory really, because I'm playing exactly the same lick. The same one I did with minor here. I could go, and it's major. Minor. It's really fun, and it's basically you just have to remember 1 fret apart on the 2nd fret, 1 fret apart on the 7th gives you minor, 2 frets apart, starting on the 2nd fret, and on the 7th, give you major. So I wrote this suite of tunes that are based on those plus some stuff in the A minor position. But I mean, the idea of playing these little licks, and I have such a good time doing it. And if you can do things that sound incredibly fast, and all you're doing is hammering on and pulling off the left hand. This sort of thing here. If I do that fast, and all my left hand is doing is minor, minor, wait. It's so much fun because you all you gotta do is come up with about 4 things and then move them into those different positions. And then you've got all the scale, all the melody. You've got like 2-3 octaves in sometimes of the whole scale because you're using open strings when you're up here. And you've got every melody note in the scale, and you're only using 1 or 2 fingers. And that's what I think is wonderful about that whole technique. You can do that also in standard tuning. You just have to find the scale, you know. A lot of them are going to be similar, like if you're playing an E minor, it'll be similar with the open strings. G, of course. But that's basically what I wanted to show you in today's lesson, is this idea of playing open strings and fingered. B flat. See, that's only on 2nd and 3rd. E minor, A major, A minor. You can do everything you need without going out of those 2 frets. And the same sort of applies up here, although I use this more for fancy licks, you know. So I think I'll cut it off there, and then what I'll do is I'll come back. If you can kind of get that, play around with that, then I'll come back and I'll show you the whole suite, which uses that extensively, and that whole concept of you can get into some really cool stuff. So that'll give you something to play with for a while, and yeah, just have fun with it. And what it's done for me is it's opened up this whole world where now I don't have to play bar chords. I don't have to play anything I don't have to stretch my fingers. I don't have to get my thumb involved too much, other than when I move around the neck. And I can play almost everything I need to play just by 1 or 2 frets, if that makes sense. Yeah, so give that a shot, and maybe we'll go into some other keys too at some point in the future. But for now, just go to D minor and D major. Those are 2 good ones in DADGAD to start with. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.